This video is for people who have torn their hamstring and they want to know what they should do pretty much from day one to get this better. Hi, my name is Tommy Brennan. I'm the owner of the Pain and Performance Clinic based in Lucan in Dublin. And we specialise in helping people return from things like sports injuries and back pain. So, if you've torn your hamstring, more than likely you were doing some sort of athletic event, you were running or sprinting or at a certain pace and you felt a pinch or a pop somewhere in the belly of your hamstring. Now, in terms of diagnosing how severe this is or how long it might take you to return to play or how bad it is or all those sorts of things, there are some things you can use yourself to help with that. If at the time you're able to walk off the pitch yourself, maybe with a little bit of a limp or a hobble, as opposed to being completely lifted off the pitch, that would generally talk about severity a little bit more. If you can walk off or limp off, generally, obviously it's not quite as significant a tear as if you are unable to bear weight on it. Now, the location of the tear is also key. So ideally what you want is that it's lower down on the hamstring, down towards your knee area. Generally, the return to play times are longer when it's up the top half of your hamstring, and certainly up near your sit bone here. They generally are more troublesome and absolutely take longer. Now, what you can do is obviously go to a therapist. They will do their tests, and the key marker that's going to really decide if this is an actual tear or not is your ability to generate force through that hamstring. So in another video I'll talk about how some hamstring issues aren't actually hamstring tears at all, but knowing that it is a hamstring tear is that there's going to be weakness there. So you might have with or without pain, but you'll certainly have weakness, and that confirms that it's a hamstring tear. Generally, if you do everything right, return to play times back to where you were can vary between about 2 and 3 weeks for a grade 1 hamstring tear. For grade 2, it's a few weeks longer. It might be 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, depending again on the severity. Grade 2, there's still a big difference in some of those. And also what dictates this is your own actions and how proactive you are when this happens to you. And that's what we're going to talk about here. So, say it happens on day 1, it's quite sore, there's not a lot you can do. You pretty much just try and do what you normally would do. You're not going to be stretching it or annoying it. You just try and function, get around the house, get home, do your work. In that first day, you might use some ice to help with the pain if it's incredibly sore, but you're not going to be at it too much. You might allow it to just give it a day or 2 to settle. That might be a time that you go to a therapist and you get a little bit of hands-on and soft tissue work in the belly of the muscle to loosen it out. If you're going that early, there's not going to be a lot that they can give you in terms of exercises for it because it's just too sore. So what you could do yourself is literally just sit down, have your leg nice and relaxed, and just massage it out. It'll be a little bit tender. It's just to get blood flow in the area, just get a little bit of gentle movement on it. That'll all be a little bit sore, but that's fine. That brings me to my next point. In the early stages, it doesn't have to be completely pain-free. If you wait till it's completely pain-free, it can be a week or more before you do anything. And that's another marker that dictates your return to play times. So ideally, we actually want to get you back running as soon as possible. People who start jogging generally get back running or get back returning to their sport quicker than people who leave it for a long time. So if you can get back running in about 3 or 4 days, that'd be a good marker for you being back in 3 weeks. Whereas if it's 6-7 days before you go jogging, that obviously is going to extend your time out by a couple of weeks. When you jog, that doesn't really put the hamstring under any major stress. So I'm going to show you that in the examples here, but it's fine to have a slight little awareness and slight pain when you go jogging. We'll go through your running program and we'll go through the exercises that you can start doing from maybe day 2 on. We'll give you some examples there with the running that you'll start with. And if you have any questions on any of this, just let us know. Okay, so your hamstring muscle runs from here down to the back of your knee. So it's under tension and pressure when you're in these positions here. So that's what I was saying about jogging. When you're jogging, it's not being brought into those positions. So you're generally safe to get jogging as quickly as pain allows. If you're jogging, try and get a maybe 3 or 4 minute jog, 1 or 2 minute walk. Try and do 3 or 4 rounds of that, and that'll be a marker for you to go, right, I can do that, it's no worse. And a day or 2 later, you go back. Like I said earlier, generally people who get jogging quicker return to their play. So it is important to try and jog as long as you're not limping or it's too sore. The few exercises that I would do from pretty much day 2 would be these 3 here. So what you might do is just during your day, bringing your heel towards your bum, down to, tapping your foot off the ground, and it's just working the muscle. It's okay for it to be a little bit sore. You might do 20 of those 3 or 4 times in your day. The other one you might do is like a march exercise here. And again, you're moving without overly annoying the area at all. So even if it's a little bit sore, you're absolutely safe to do this because your knee is in this position, it's not out in this position. And again, you might do 20 of those. The other thing you might do then would be a few little toe taps like this. So those 3 exercises, maybe 3 times in your day on day 2 and day 3, will allow you then to move on to some of the other exercises that we're going to go through now. So the next group of exercises that you might do would, for example, be exercises where, again, your hamstring is not in a vulnerable position. So things like bridges. So maybe sets of 10 or 12 where you're holding for 5 seconds. If that's too easy, go on to single leg exercises like this. Again, hamstring isn't under too much pressure here. It's all here. And then if you're able for it, what you can do is start loading the hamstring then 3 or 4 or 5 days into it. What we'll do here is just bring the heel out a little bit, lift your bum up. You'll feel the hamstrings working there. If that's okay, hold it for 5 seconds and swap. How you make that more difficult is you hold it for longer, or you can start bringing your heel a little bit further out, which will ask more of your hamstring. So again, this stuff can be done most days, around 3 sets. The movement ones to start off with, then down to these ones on the ground, and that should get you to probably day 5 or 6, where you're able to move on to the next stage of exercises. If you have any questions, please comment below, and we'll be happy to help.